Francis again with you to take you through another art project, art lesson, however you want to term it. And I hope you're all having a good day so far, enjoying every day, even though you're sheltered at home just like I am. But there's always wonderful things that we can do. I'm just going to share a little story with you. When I got up yesterday, I go and I open the drapes to my living room area and have a big window there. And I have this cactus plant out in the front yard. And it's one of those tall cylinder-like cactuses. I don't know the name of it. But I knew that it was going to, the flowers were going to bloom on it. The flowers are absolutely gorgeous. They're the white and they open up kind of like this. And in the center is where the pollen area is and such. So I looked out the window and there was 6 beautiful flowers. Oh my, gorgeous. They were just magnificent. But I know because of past experience that they only last one day. So in the morning they were like this, just beautiful out there waiting for the bees and the bumblebees to come. And by the end of the day, around 7 o'clock, they were like this, all wilted and such. But that was the cycle of life for that particular flower. But it was just gorgeous, and I just felt the need to share it with you because for this last project for today, we're going to work on a mandala. And mandalas have been used throughout time in what I consider a very spiritual way. And you could use them to meditate with and such. And they can be very, very intricate, with many parts to them. But they're just beautiful. And that flower reminded me of the mandala. So this is what we're going to do today. Going to work on this mandala. I've got one started here. And you're going to receive the materials you'll need. You're going to have black construction paper and glue, of course. We always use, not always, but glue, scissors, and if you need it, you can use a pencil to draw your shape slightly. I'm turning this around this way because, and I'll show you this in a minute, in my mandala, you can see I have this a circular area, a larger area, circular, and these other shapes coming out from the center. But I have in the center here a little heart, and that's what I wanted to be the focus finally of this mandala shape. Okay, so let me move this aside here. And you don't need really large pieces of paper. You can use any colors you want. You can use the shapes that you want. And remember, we have our basic shapes. I have a circle here. I have kind of, not quite a pyramid, but a leaf type shape, another circle here, another leaf type shape. You could use squares if you wanted to. You could use rectangles, diamond shapes, curvy lines cut from the construction paper. It's all up to you. So I have had this started, and I'm going to continue working on it. So my next thing that I have to consider here, or the next step, is what other colors do I want to use? Okay, what other colors do I want to use? Okay, I think yellow would be too much for me at this point because the red and green, the blue I like, but the yellow really pops out, and I don't want that to distract. And you'll see I have an entire plastic container of leftover construction paper, which I hold on to because there could be a valuable thing that I want to use. Okay, so I'm taking out some green here because I have green here already, and I'm going to decide what I want to do next. When you finish this, you can hang it in, if you have an area like a wall, you could tape it to a wall or tape it to your refrigerator, and it can just be a reminder for you of being at peace, you know, being relaxed, maybe looking at it and taking a moment to say your favorite prayer or to offer prayers for the world in this turbulent time that we're in. Okay, so let's see, what else can I do here? When I was working on this, I kind of felt the need that I wanted to get out my colored pencils, but I said, no, let me stay away from that. Let me work on it this way. Just going step by step. Okay, let's see. I don't have very much pink, but let me see what I can do with it. Because pink is a very soft color. Most pinks are anyway. Some pinks can be very, very glaring, huh? Okay, so I have those shapes here, and I keep referring to it as shapes because then I think that simplifies it, and I know it simplifies it in my mind because then I don't have to think of something that has to be very complicated. Okay, so let's see, and everything is coming out from the center, Okay, just like it does from our heart, the center. Okay, so let's see. Another kind of leaf shape. Here, I don't know if I have enough pink to do this with, but we'll see. I'm not going to stress on it right now. Okay. And remember, this again can be as complicated as you want or as simple as you want. And when I use the word simple, I don't mean that it's not worthy or anything like that. There's great beauty in simplicity. Great beauty in simplicity. Okay, I do kind of like that shape there. So I'm gonna take that and hope I have enough. This might be a little bit smaller, but I'm not gonna be too concerned about it. And earlier when I did some lessons with you, I suggested keeping your scissors on the table and cutting. What I'm doing now is quite the opposite. I'm holding this in the air. And this feels comfortable at this point, so that's why I'm doing it this way. But I'm holding my hands underneath, and I am being kind of careful, okay? So there's one, there's another one. And let's see if I can get one more out of this small pink paper. And I'm not gonna throw these papers away. Even though they might be considered scraps, I'm going to save them. They could be very valuable for something upcoming. Okay. So, and I find that with many of my artist friends and people who are into crafts and such, we save things that normally people would throw away. Okay? When I used to walk around with my grandkids wherever we'd be going, and I'd find a little piece of paper or a piece of metal, and I'd pick it up and they'd ask me, what do you do with that? I say, it's a treasure. I might want to use it for some art project. So when we would go about places, they'd say, can we find any treasures? And that's always fun. But anyway, that's from Grandma's point of view. Tied in with the artist's point of view. So I like the way this will work here. Okay, I'm gonna slide this underneath here, and it looks like I need 1, 2, 3 more. I don't know if I have any more pink to do that. Let me look through this pile of valuable papers. I just might. Okay, we're in luck. Yay! Yay! It's all crumpled up, but does that matter? No, it's not gonna matter. Okay, let me take that off. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I can tell that this paper is kind of old because it's faded over here. It's not faded here, but that's okay. It'll work for us. It'll work for us. And another thing is about using old papers and objects that you find. There's a certain value of that kind of recycling. I know there have been times when I have heard people say, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that because I don't have the most perfect materials in the world. But if you're an artist and all you have is green paint to paint with, that's what you're going to use, green paint, and you'll be happy about it. In my area that I use to do my creativity at home, it's my garage. And it used to be very dark and dingy, but did it stop me? Nope. Nope, I found a way to do it. Okay, so there's always a way to do it if you are so inclined and so inspired. So I'm going to use this scrap here, and I'm going to use my, you can see my basic shape that I had. I'm using that as a pattern. So I have them all more or less the same size. And again, the idea of the mandala, in my estimation, is very spiritual, and they can be very, very, very complicated. And I don't mean complicated, very intricate is a better word. Yeah, they can be very intricate. And people have used like mosaics, yarn, sand, and whatever other materials are available to the artist. Okay, I kind of like that. You can see just by adding these particular shapes, it has got, I believe, more interest to it. So I can then come along, and I think what I'm going to do is add some other kind of shapes here. But I want to try and be consistent with some of the things I have. When I say consistent, I'm talking about the colors that I'm using at this particular point. I have seen images of mandalas that use a great multitude of colors and shapes, and they're beautiful, beautiful. But for this particular time, I'm going to pare it down and use fewer colors. Partly because I have fewer colors, okay? I'm not going to let that stop me. Okay, I have some blue here. Okay, and I have some more blue. Looking through my treasure of old papers. Okay. One thing that I have tended to collect is crushed bottle caps. Of course, you find them at the store, you find them when you go to the gas station, but some of them are rusted and they just end up in these wonderful, beautiful shapes with these wonderful patterns on them. Okay, so I'm going to use my blue again, and I'm going to cut, let's see, I think I'm going to cut some diamond shapes. And I'm folding my paper so I can get more than one shape out of it, and then I'll get them to size, and then I will cut more. Okay, very simple, very simple. I cut it on the fold, so I'm going to separate it by cutting down the middle. And again, I'm doing what I asked you not to do previously. Don't hold your scissors up in the air, but it's working for me this time, so I'm gonna break my own, not rule, but break what I said, okay? So, there we go. And I'm gonna cut some more of those. And you can see just by this addition of this pink and these blue shapes that it's starting to get a little bit more complicated, but I think nonetheless very interesting. Okay. Okay. As I said earlier, the mandalas are very meditative, and even the process of art making can be very meditative. It can calm you down. It can give you an opportunity to take a breath from the day and refocus your energy also. And I think that's a good thing. If you feel like you need to do that. And it's one of the side benefits of the art making process. And I am so glad that you're here today. And I hope that you will continue to be here for the balance of the lessons while we go through this. Okay, so you can see that now I'm gaining, I believe, more interest here. And I'm going to continue cutting my little triangles. Let me see if I can cut more than 2 at a time here. Let's see. And again, very simple materials. You could do this if you have old magazines at home. You can even use a newspaper. Okay, and because newspapers have different type of print on them, as long as your shapes are the same. I think that's I believe that is the main characteristic that you want to go for. Let me see if this will fit on here. Yes, it will nicely. Okay, so I'm going to make one more fold and then I'm going to cut and see how many of these triangles I end up with. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. And again, they say like you could use magazines or newspapers or any other old kind of material paper you have, so that what I'm pointing out again is that you don't have to have the most expensive or the most pricey, that's the same thing, expensive and pricey, or the most outrageous kind of materials. Very simple, it's wonderful. And as I said earlier, there's a great deal of complexity in the simplicity. Okay, here we go. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Come on, wonderful. Ooh, okay. There we go. I really like the way this is looking. I hope you like it too. Okay. Now, I could go on and add more of the triangle shapes and glue them down and these pink shapes, but I believe you have the basic idea of creating a mandala. I'm not going to, well, I don't have to pick this up because everything will fall off, but all you need is your construction paper, which is the ground, and in this case it's a 9-inch square of paper. Let me show you how to make a square from, say, this is a rectangular piece of paper. So how do I make a square without measuring if I don't have a ruler? All you have to do is take one side of the paper, fold it to the other side, and try and be as accurate as possible, making sure to get that little corner straight. There we go. Oops, almost. Let me pull it over again. Okay. So, this, just by folding it this way, one edge over to the next edge, I get a square. And I'm going to fold this back so I can show you that in fact I am telling you the truth. I'm not deceiving you or giving you some false information. Okay, so if I open it up, it's a square. And that was quite simple to do, but perhaps you've not learned that trick before, so now I'm sharing this with you, so you have a trick. And you can see my black square is just a little bit bigger than the white one, but the white bond paper is a square just by making that simple fold in it. So, I hope that you're going to enjoy making your mandala. Use it as a place of peacefulness, and as I said earlier, perhaps you can take a minute and wherever you post it or put it at, and you can say a daily prayer to it. You could make an offering of a wish for somebody or a prayer for somebody, but it's a point of peacefulness. Okay? So, I hope you enjoyed that. Have some fun, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.